Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nala and today I'm going to be going over my July TBR. So for my July TBR, this is going to be fulfilling all 16 prompts for the readathon that I will be co-hosting for the month of July. If you do not know, the readathon is called Battle of the Bands or Battle of the Decades. I will be the captain of Team Journey for this readathon. It is hosted by Jake over on his channel, The Bookish Drummer. You still have time to join this readathon. You have until the very last day of June to join the Discord and pick your team. And of course, you know you want to pick my team, Team Journey, representing the 80s. Winning team, the best team. So I will link down in the description box down below my announcement video for this readathon in case you missed it to get all the details about it. And I will also link Jake's link for his Discord, so you can just click on that, join the readathon, and you'll be all set to go. Okay, without wasting any more time, let's jump into this, shall we? Let's go. For prompt number 1, a book you don't think anyone would buddy read with you. Now for this one, I chose The Ancestor by Danielle Trussoni. Now for this one, it really intrigued me. It's a bewitching gothic novel of suspense that plunges readers into a world of dark family secrets, the mysteries of human genetics, and the burden of family inheritance. It seems to be set in an ancestral castle nestled in the Italian Alps. Yeah, this is really intriguing. I'm really excited to jump into this one. For prompt number 2, a book with a relentless character who will stop at nothing. For this prompt, I chose The Young Elites by Marie Lu. Adelina is a survivor of the blood fever. A decade ago, the deadly illness swept through her nation. Most of the infected perished, while many of the children who survived were left with strange markings. Adelina's black hair turned silver, her lashes went pale, and now she has only a jagged scar where her left eye once was. And it seems that we're also going to be following 3 POVs in this one. So yeah, just a little tidbit from that one. I've actually had this on my TBR for quite some time, and this is a good reason for me to just jump into this series. For prompt number 3, a book with a character in a situation or place you dream of being in. For this prompt, I chose The Grandest Bookshop in the World by Amelia Meller. Pearl and Valley Cole live in a bookshop, and not just any bookshop. In 1893, Cole's Book Arcade in Melbourne is the grandest bookshop in the world, brimming with every curiosity imaginable. Each day brings fresh delights for the siblings, voice-changing sweets, talking parrots, a new story written just for them by their eccentric father. When Pearl and Valley learn that Pa has risked the arcade and himself in a shocking deal with the mysterious Obscuro Smith, the siblings hatch a plan. Soon they are swept into a dangerous game with impossibly high stakes. Defeat 7 challenges by the stroke of midnight, and both the arcade and their father will be restored. But if they fail, they won't just lose Pa, they'll forget that he and the arcade ever existed. For this one, I chose For Dreams because my best friend gifted this to me for us to do a buddy read together. This is a middle grade. Middle grade for me is like that nice palette cleanser, a cutesy, just light breeze of a read. So this one, I think, especially in a readathon, I'm gonna need a palette cleanser and a breeze. But for the dream prompt, this sounds like something, especially as a kid, I would have loved to have gone to. Like, I think her and I would really love to be in this place, like to just visit. So that is why I picked this one for dreams. For prompt number 4, this one was For the Chain, a book chosen for you based on the scavenger hunt. Now I'm going to put up the graphic for the scavenger hunt right here. So for the scavenger hunt, number 1 was grab any favorite book. And of course, the first one I grabbed was Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Number 2 on this says find another book in a series with the same color scheme on the cover. So I chose Sea Fire by Natalie C. Parker. Number 3 says take the most recent release or last book in that series and find another book that has the same number of letters in the title. The last book in the series is Stormbreak. I have it up here actually. So Stormbreak is the last book in the Sea Fire series. And 10 letters, it has 10 letters. which leads to number 5. Take the 4th or last letter in that title and find a book whose title starts with that letter. Letter C, I did this scrolling through my Goodreads library shelf, and the letter C that I picked just randomly was Craven Manor. Number 5, pick something on the cover and find a book with that thing in the title. Now on this cover, clearly there is some mist in this. Gray Mist Fair, mist in the title. There we go. Which led me to number 6, find another book in that same genre or subgenre, which is a fantasy. And I picked The Beast's Heart. That is a fantasy. It was just the first thing I came across, The Beast's Heart. Number 7 on this says take one of the author's initials and find another book by an author who shares one of those initials, which the author has LS for initials. That led me to Blood of Elves, which is book number 1 in the Witcher series by, I cannot pronounce his first name. His last name is Sapkowski. I can pronounce that. His first name I cannot pronounce. I'm not even gonna try. But I believe he is Polish. Let me read you the synopsis for The Witcher. For over a century, humans, dwarves, gnomes, and elves have lived together in relative peace, but times have changed. The uneasy peace is over, and now the races are fighting once again. The only good elf, it seems, is a dead elf. Geralt of Rivia, the cunning assassin known as the Witcher, has been waiting for the birth of a prophesied child. The child has the power to change the world for good or for evil. As the threat of war hangs over the land and the child is hunted for her extraordinary powers, it will become Geralt's responsibility to protect them all. And the Witcher never accepts defeat. I'm actually really excited to jump into the world of The Witcher, and I am coming into this having never have played the video games. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see my perspective of never experiencing the games before and just jumping right into the world itself. Yeah, I've had this on my TBR for a long time as well, and I'm finally able to jump into this storyline, this narrative, and I'm really excited about it. All right, for prompt number 5, now we're getting into my team, Team Journey's prompts. The winning team, the best team, Team Journey, yes. Prompt number 5 for our team would be a book with a spoiled or greedy character. Now for this prompt, I chose An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. In New York City, magic controls everything, but the power of magic is fading. No one knows what is happening except for Sydney, a new rare magician with incredible power that has been unmatched in decades. And she may be the only person who is able to stop the darkness that is weakening the magic. But Sydney doesn't want to help the system. She wants to destroy it. Sydney comes from the House of Shadows, which controls the magic with the help of sacrifices from magicians. This one's kind of mysterious. It doesn't really give a lot of detail in that premise. I have no idea what to expect from this. Magical realism can go both ways for me, so if it's executed well for me, I think I'm really gonna like it. For prompt number 6, a book that you know has made someone else cry. Okay, for this one, I chose Of Honey and Wildfire by Sarah Korn or Sarah Chorn, however she pronounces that. This one I know made Trinity from the channel Portable Magic. It made her cry. It caused emotional distress, 100%. Here's the premise of that one. From the moment the first settler dug a well and struck a load of shine, the world changed. Now everything revolves around that magical oil. What began as a simple scouting expedition becomes a life-changing ordeal for Arlen Esco. The son of a powerful mogul is kidnapped and forced to confront uncomfortable truths his father has kept hidden. In his hands lies a decision that will determine the fate of everyone he loves and impact the lives of every person in Shine territory. The daughter of an infamous saboteur and outlaw, Cassandra has her own dangerous secrets to protect. When the lives of those she loves are threatened, she realizes that she is uniquely placed to change the balance of power in Shine territory once and for all. Secrets breed more secrets. Somehow Arlen and Cassandra must find their own truths in the middle of a garden of lies. This one really intrigues me because I've never read anything that had this kind of premise or set in this kind of environment. I'm curious about this one. I definitely have heard about the emotional aspects to the story from multiple people. So yeah, this is why this is going for this prompt. Okay, prompt number 7. A book in a genre or subgenre you're willing to try or try more of. Now for this prompt, I chose Nigeria Jones by Ibi Zoboi. If that's how you pronounce it, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that name. This is the premise for this one. Warrior princess, that is what Nigeria's father calls her. He's raised her as part of the movement, a black separatist group based in Philadelphia. Nigeria is homeschooled and vegan and participates in traditional rituals that connect her and other kids from the group to their ancestors. But when her mother, the perfect matriarch to their movement, disappears, Nigeria's world is upended. She finds herself taking care of her baby brother and stepping into a role she doesn't want. This sounds more like a contemporary, and I don't read that genre, if ever. Yeah, like never. The premise of this sounds good, and I want to kind of step into another, like the perspective of a character from a different background and the way she's growing up and kind of questioning how she's growing up. She ends up uncovering things that I think she might go against when she starts finding out certain truths about her family and everything that she's been taught. If I get into this and I'm not really feeling it, I do have a couple other options. One would be the ballerinas and the other one would be the ingenue. Those are kind of like my 2 backup options in case this one kind of falls flat for me, or if I'm not really feeling it, then I will jump into one of the other ones. And prompt number 8. A book in a series that you believe will be completed one day. For this one, I chose Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. So this one is book 1 in the band series. This is kind of like getting the band back together kind of premise. Clay Cooper and his band were once the best of the best, the meanest, dirtiest, most feared crew of mercenaries this side of the Heart Wild. Their glory days long past, the Mercs have grown apart and grown old, fat, drunk, or a combination of the 3. Then an ex-bandmate turns up at Clay's door with a plea for help. His daughter Rose is trapped in a city besieged by an enemy 100,000 strong and hungry for blood. Rescuing Rose is the kind of mission that only the very brave or the very stupid would sign up for. It's time to get the band back together for one last tour across the wild. So I think this is more of like an adult fantasy, and a lot of people really like this, and I heard that the banter, the sarcasm, and the humor in this is like on point. So we will see how I feel about this one. Okay, prompt number 9. A book featuring a rebellious teenage character. The book I chose for this prompt was Travelers Along the Way by Amina Safi. This is a Robin Hood remix. It's a thrilling female-led Robin Hood remix that reframes the legend's tales of the Third Crusade, set in Jerusalem 1192. Our main character is relentless, not going to stop at anything but to complete her goal, and she is a teenager because this is why we are following our MC, who is a teenager. So that is why this fits for this prompt. Prompt number 10. A book with an element from the periodic table in the title. Now for this prompt, I chose Ink, Iron, and Glass by Gwendolyn Clare. Can she write a world gone wrong? A certain pen, a certain book, and a certain person can craft an entirely new worlds through a branch of science called scriptology. Elsa comes from one such world that was written into creation, where her mother, a noted scriptologist, constantly alters and expands their reality. I'm going to stop there at the premise because I don't need to know anymore. That was enough for me to put this on my Goodreads TBR. This actually sounds like kind of like a continuation of the movie Inkheart if our young girl main character grew up, because the end of Inkheart is a completely different ending than the book. So for the movie, how that ended, this would make sense for that ending. So to me, this has that like movie, the Inkheart movie vibes of like a continuation from that of our main character. And just to have that premise of the scriptology, and that kind of excites me. So But for some reason, I'm not in the mood for it at the time. My second option for this was A Touch of Gold by Annie Sullivan. Now this is book 1 in the series. It says, gold is wealth, wealth is power, power is a curse. After King Midas's gift or curse almost killed his daughter, he relinquished the touch forever. 10 years later, Princess Cora still bears the consequences of her father's wish. Her skin shines golden, rumors follow her everywhere she goes, and she harbors secret powers that are getting harder to hide. So yeah, this is a King Midas retelling. I've had this on my TBR, and I've been in the mood for like a King Midas retelling. With just like the gold and just, I don't know. So this one or the other one, we'll see which one I get to. Prompt number 11, a book you had on your July TBR prior to the readathon. Okay, so for this prompt, I had Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Then she was 15, her mother's golden girl. She had her whole life ahead of her, and then in the blink of an eye, Ellie was gone. Now it's been 10 years since Ellie disappeared, but Laurel has never given up hope of finding her daughter. And then one day a charming and charismatic stranger called Floyd walks into a cafe, sweeps her off her feet. Before too long, she's staying the night at this house, and being introduced to his 9-year-old daughter. Poppy, who is precocious and pretty, and meeting her completely takes Laurel's breath away, because Poppy is the spitting image of Ellie when she was that age. And now all those unanswered questions that have haunted Laurel come flooding back. What happened to Ellie? Where did she go? Who still has secrets to hide? This is a mystery, obviously. I don't know if it's going to be a thriller. Mystery thriller would be even better, but yeah, I'm kind of like on this kind of Lisa Jewell adventure quest, what have you. After talking to Jake about it, he likes Lisa Jewell. I think he said she's one of his favorite authors, so I wanted to include a Lisa Jewell definitely for this readathon and kind of continue on to see if I get it, if I like her writing style, if I like her mysteries. I've only read one Lisa Jewell book so far, and it was okay. I love the setting, but it was just okay. So we'll see how this one goes. Hopefully I'll like it. Okay, and prompt number 12, a book you've had to apologize for not reading yet. Now for this one, for me, it would be Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. Now this is a YA fantasy, y'all. I have had this on my TBR for a long time. I have listened to chapter 1. I don't know how many times I've listened to chapter 1 and have stopped and have gone to other things. I don't know why. It's just, I haven't been committed to it. I'll start it and I just won't commit. So this is definitely an apology to this book. I have always pushed it off. I've never committed to it. This is me saying it is time to commit and get this, read it, get it done, and see what my opinion is on this. And let me just get to the premise of this. Shiori, the only princess of Kiata, has a secret. Forbidden magic runs through her veins. Normally she conceals it well, but on the morning of her betrothal ceremony, Shiori loses control. At first her mistake seems like a stroke of luck, forestalling the wedding she never wanted. But it also catches the attention of Rakima, her stepmother. Now, her stepmother has dark magic of her own, and she banishes the young princess, turning her brothers into cranes and warning Shiori that she must speak of it to no one, for with every word that escapes her lips, one of her brothers will die. Penniless, voiceless, and alone, Shiori searches for her brothers, and on her journey uncovers a conspiracy to overtake the throne. So what really intrigues me about this one is that she cannot speak, because there's consequences if she uses her voice. I am definitely needing to see how this takes place, how she communicates, if she writes, if she does some type of other like sign language or something magical to communicate, because she has to find her brothers and she can't speak of it. And I think this is a retelling of, I don't remember what this is a retelling of, but I have heard this premise before, but like in another version. Another story did a retelling of this as well. Or if you know, please let me know in the comments, because I'm blanking and I'm not like seeing it right off the bat on the Goodreads site either what this is a retelling of. So if you know, let me know. Prompt number 13 is a book featuring an ignorant character. For this one, I chose Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. In a society steeped in tradition, Princess Leia's life follows a preordained course. As first daughter, she is expected to have the revered gift of sight, but she doesn't, and she knows her parents are perpetrating a sham when they arrange her marriage to secure an alliance with a neighboring kingdom to a prince she has never met. On the morning of her wedding, she flees to a distant village. She settles into a new life, hopeful when two mysterious and handsome strangers arrive, and unaware that one is the jilted prince and the other is an assassin sent to kill her. Deception abounds, and Leia finds herself on the brink of unlocking perilous secrets. This is book 1 in the Remnant Chronicles series, and obviously this fits the prompt because she is ignorant as to who is who. She's completely ignorant to it, so that is the one I chose for this prompt. Prompt number 14, a book with loneliness or isolation as a theme. Now for this one, I chose The Orchard by Peter Heller. This would be the third book that I'm trying out by Peter Heller. He's a wilderness guy, so the things that he writes is all wilderness-based settings, and the first two I read were like wilderness mystery themed. The premise of this one is Haley and her 7-year-old daughter Frith live in a rustic cabin with no electricity in the foothills of Vermont's Green Mountains. One of the world's most renowned translators of poetry from China's Tang Dynasty, Haley walked away from her career and her drug-addicted husband to raise Frith alone in a land populated not by ambition-fueled academics, but by hawks, beavers, and other wild things, including their exuberant Bernese mountain mutt bear. They get by on what little they earn from their overgrown apple orchard and the syrup they make from their maple trees. Frith, precocious, homeschooled, and a voracious reader, considers herself queen of this backwoods paradise. She is too young to understand the pain and regret that have followed her mother here. It says it examines the fragility of childhood, motherhood, romantic love, friendship, and celebrates the enduring solace of nature. This one definitely hits on loneliness, isolation, and that kind of feeling set in a wilderness, so I have high hopes for this one. Prompt number 15. A book you would typically read during spooky season. So I kind of chose based on just like the premise, kind of like a more of a thriller, scarier, or gothic themed type of book. And the one I chose was Lone Women by Victor LaValle. This is actually a 2023 anticipated release for me, so I am excited to get to this one. It says blue skies, empty land, and enough room to hide away a horrifying secret. Adelaide Henry carries an enormous steamer trunk with her wherever she goes. It's locked at all times because when the trunk opens, people around Adelaide start to disappear. The year is 1915 and she is in trouble. Her secret sin killed her parents, forcing her to flee California in a hellfire rush and make her way to Montana as a homesteader. Dragging the trunk with her at every stop, she will become one of the lone women, taking advantage of the government's offer of free land for those who can tame it, except that Adelaide isn't alone, and the secret she's tried so desperately to lock away might be the only thing that will help her survive this harsh territory. I have never been more intrigued by a steamer trunk in my life. Like, what is the magical aspect of this trunk, of this steamer trunk? Scary, thrilling secret that is based around this steamer trunk about her and her life and what she hides, and the setting and the whole premise of the storyline, especially based in that time. This is super intriguing. I really can't wait to see what my thoughts are on this one, for sure. Okay, the last prompt is a book from an enemy team captain's favorite list. So the first thing I will do is I will put up all of our favorites now. This is Ian's favorite list right here. This is my favorites list. Now, what this prompt means though, if you are on my team journey, you would not be choosing a book from my favorite list. You will be choosing a book from one of the other team captains list. If you are on another team, then you would be able to read one of my favorites. That's how this prompt works. Nico's favorites list, is here. Nico's, and then Jake's. This is the list of Jake's favorites right here. I have two options that I have kind of set for this one because I'm a mood reader. So depending on what mood I am in, I'm either gonna read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, which is a sci-fi, or East of Eden by John Steinbeck, which is like a classic. But and I don't do classics, but the premise of this has been, it's always been on my TBR. And both of these are from Ian's favorite lists, by the way. They're off of his list. So the premise of East of Eden is as follows. Set in the rich farmland of California's Salinas Valley, the sprawling and often brutal novel follows the intertwined destinies of two families, the Trasks and the Hamiltons, whose generations helplessly reenact the fall of Adam and Eve and the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. Adam Trask came to California from the east to farm and raise his family on the new rich land, but the birth of his twins, Cal and Aaron, I see what they did there, brings his wife to the brink of madness, and Adam is left alone to raise his boys to manhood. One boy thrives, nurtured by the love of all those around him. The other grows up in loneliness, enveloped by a mysterious darkness. So that's the premise of this one. Let me jump into Dark Matter. A mind-bending, relentlessly surprising thriller. Jason Dezen is walking home through the chilly Chicago streets one night, looking forward to a quiet evening in front of the fireplace, when his reality shatters. Are you happy with your life? Those are the last words he hears before the masked abductor knocks him unconscious. Before he awakens to find himself strapped to a gurney surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits. Before a man Jason's never met smiles down at him and says, "Welcome back, my friend." In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and he is not an ordinary college physics professor, but a celebrated genius who has achieved something remarkable and something impossible. Is it this world or the other that's the dream? This is more of a thriller sci-fi. Depending on my mood, depends on which one I choose. You will have to stay tuned for my wrap-up to see which one I go for. All right, y'all, that is all the books to complete this TBR. All 16 prompts, all books for all the prompts, all the things. Yes, this is pretty ambitious. Will I hit all 16 prompts? I'm gonna try. I'm really gonna try. I don't think I have read 16 books in a month ever. I think 12 has been the most I've ever done. So stay tuned for my wrap up to see if I can hit this, to see which books I have chosen out of the ones that I have several options for. So I'm really excited for this readathon. I am excited to be co-hosting and being the captain of Team Journey. I am really rooting for our team to win this. Just do as much as you can and let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's win this. Let's win this. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you are notified every single time that I upload a new video. And as always, happy reading, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.